We are 13 days from Sidetrack 19. Decided that the rear springs need to be more heavy duty, so I'm going to remove a spacer that I have here, and I've got a slightly heavy duty spring to replace these two with, just to prevent that sagging when it's set up for a touring rig.
I'm a little bit paranoid, to be honest. In that high country trip, I noticed instead of the usual plumes of black smoke, when you tromp it in this thing, the smoke's changed to a bit of a white with a bit of a bluish tinge to it. So it makes me nervous. And of course I've done nothing since that trip, so here I am investigating the issue. Let's see if I can fault find anything. Other than that, we'll just wing it.
So this is about all we're going to do on the Jeep before we leave. Everything else is just minor stuff, packing, sorting everything out, finding a spot.
We are 10 days out from leaving. We're just doing a few final bits and pieces. Marco's getting his windows tinted for some reason today. Finalised packing, putting the boxes into both vehicles, make sure we've got everything sorted for that. I'm about to head out, get gas filled up, this little bad boy. Yeah, so we're pretty well on point. You got your shit sorted, Marco?
No such thing.
Something will go wrong?
Yeah, definitely. Nah, pretty much. Good to roll.
Yeah, the reason he's getting his windows tinted now is because Sidetrack 18, a whole year ago, believe it or not, mud in the seals of his windows must have scratched the tint, so he thought he'd leave it till basically 10 days out from a trip to get them fixed. Anyway, so yeah, go for a little bit of a chuff, get this filled up. Yeah. Oh, it is chilly this time of year, South Australia. One would think it was going to be a little bit warmer, so we are keen as to get to some warmer countryside. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. So we're basically sorted out what we're putting in each vehicle. Mark's got probably better access to the boxes than I do in the Patrol. So in the back of the Patrol, that'll be spares, power tools. Sorry, not spares. That'll be electrical bag and power tools. They're my spares for the Patrol. A bit of a first aid kit, homemade first aid kit. These will be basically food storage, both of them. My swag probably on the way up there will be in the cab, just purely to stop wind drag as much on the roof, and your other bag there for storage. This one we don't have to get to a great deal with, fingers crossed anyway. That's basically spare oils, all of our bits and pieces that if shit hits the fan. And then with Mark's over here, essentials, the condiments and whatever for camp cooking, and then plates, cutlery, all that sort of jazz. Over here, his slides out, so it's super convenient. Sidetrack 19. We've got a big drive ahead of us. We've just left Monday lunchtime-ish.
Just a quiet one this time. Nick and myself driving up to Cairns. So 4 days on the road.
Just under 2,700 k's to get there. So it's definitely doable, easily. But yeah, we just want to spread that out over the 4 days. The boys, Angus and Jordan, they were both on, well, you know Angus from the High Country Tassie trip, and Jordan was also on the Tassie trip, so they're going to fly up and we meet them at Cairns Airport on Friday about 10:30. That's when they're due to come in. So yeah, we've got 2 weeks after they get there. They could only get the 2 weeks off work, so they've just got fly in, fly out guests. They've got the dream gig on this trip. So we'll head north after we get to Cairns, and a few tracks we want to tackle.
We're hoping to see the Creb track, Old Coach Road, Bloomfield track maybe, OTT maybe.
After that 2 weeks, we'll drop them back at Cairns, and then Marco's missus, Kristen, who's also on Tassie trip, she's going to fly up and replace one of the boys, and there's a potential that Matt may fly up with her. We're going to attack Fraser after Kristen gets up here, and yeah, we'll see what sort of time frame we got left, and it would probably be about time to start trekking back down to SA. So that's about the rough plan.
Well, we're back on the road. Nice little campsite last night actually, but super soft creek bed, and it's a bit strange. Nick went to put it in 4 high and 4 low and had no drive to the front wheels, so his auto hubs just aren't engaging for some reason, but it just spun them to lock and now has drive again at the front wheels. I just had to unlock them again this morning before we hit the bitumen.
What are we, 38 kilometres out of Arramanga, outback Queensland. I feel like it's been on for a good 15 to 20 k's. I'm going to be pushing it, I reckon. Marco, his fuel's not ideal either. He seems to think he's got a bit of reserve, a bit more of a reserve than the Jeep gives it credit for on the trip computer. This old Bessie doesn't have a trip computer, so I'm just purely basing my Ks on what I've recorded in the past. So I reckon he'll get there, but I don't know if I will. It's going to be a tight one. Just wait and see. Just rolled into Arramanga, filled up, and put 119 litres into 120 litre tanks. That's seriously cutting them fine.
After another long day driving, the boys pull off to the side of the road and set up camp under a light shower of rain. Bit of rain today. Pretty much the whole second half of the day was raining, which is a bit unusual. We're expecting a drought-stricken Queensland. With a couple of burgers down the hatch, Mark and Nick sit back and enjoy the soft pitter-patter of rain on the awning. And another early night will keep them nice and fresh for tomorrow. Woo! She's damp out there today. She's damp. Oh. Close my doors here. Alright, well it's 6 AM. Got about 1,000 Ks to do. We didn't really want to stick around here, so packed up pretty early. Start driving. Might stop in and get a coffee. First town we come across. Little treat for being such good boys. How's that big patrol going this morning, mate?
Yeah, just warming her up, mate. Get a bit of heat into that bloody motor before I start. I don't know, it might be a bit sticky getting out of here. A bit wetter than it was when we come in here.
Yeah, that's going to be a good bit of fun.
Hopefully I don't have to get out and lock my old farm hubs in. Let's give it a crack, eh?
Yeah, I think I'll be locking the front in straight away.
I think that was a good idea by you. I'm struggling.
What was a dry paddock on the way in yesterday has been completely changed overnight thanks to a slow, constant rain. And up ahead is not showing any signs of easing.
Well, we thought we were out of the rain, but this is absolutely full on. I've got the wipers flat out. I'm doing probably about 40 k's under the speed limit because I can't see much at all. This is a good drenching.
And just like that, less than an hour later, the storm has passed and it's blue skies. Around 800 to go, hopefully less than that, about 700-800 k's to go. So we're starting to get a bit over it. Pretty much just been a case of follow the HEMA all day. Fuel up, drive, fuel up, drive.
Starting to get a little bit bored of today, to be honest. So I thought I'd let you in a little couple secrets of how to fix fatigue. What have we got back here? Number one on a trip is beef jerky. It is an absolute must. I got about 1 kilo before I left home. First bag's getting a little low, and I've left the second bag well and truly out of reach, so I can't just grab it and just continue to devour it. I was lucky enough to have a very generous girlfriend. Still am lucky enough to have a very generous girlfriend, but she couldn't be on the trip, so she's packed me an enormous bag of lollies and a couple, I think there's about 4 things in that whole bag that aren't full of sugar. So that is a hell of a thing. Just back here for a lucky dip. Cashews or any nuts, fantastic. Good munching. And if you don't want to muck around, just open these up. He's highly allergic to nuts, so he'll be out of here as soon as he knows that they're anywhere in sight. What else we got in it? Bloody rice crackers. Pretty flavourless, but it's something to do. Sour lollies, also a favourite of mine. Sometimes a little bit too much of a favourite because I end up with a blistered tongue. Good tunes, coffee, and there may even be a few little treats back in the igloo here. That's how I deal with fatigue. Oh, we're just packing up tents and swags. Got a cup of joe on. My God, not a bad little campsite if there wasn't a highway right there, and a train line that gets used daily, or more than daily.
Hourly.
I heard it once last night, and like Mark said before, it felt like the train was going straight through this campsite. It was ridiculous and loud. He said it come through a couple of times, so yeah, we'll just make coffee, do a few dishes that we've been meaning to do for the last 3 days, and beeline it for cans.
Well, that's Townsville out of the way. Ingham down. Cairns, you're next on the list. Love this part of the country too. Green, hills, cane. I don't love cane, but it just looks cool. Warming up a bit, it's 30 degrees now. Might even chuck the AC on, I reckon. Splurge a little. The long drive is over. So yeah, we should make it to Cairns, plenty of time. Find somewhere to stay for the night, wait for the boys to get in tomorrow, and really start to kick things off. Cannot wait for the next 2 weeks to start. Let's get into it. Alright, I've just turned off the main highway up to Cairns. Just thought we might shoot off and go and have a look at Paranella Park.
Time ago, some dude, Jose, started a hydroelectric in tropical North Queensland. But yeah, he made a couple castles, and everything's still pretty well standing at this stage in the game. So it's definitely worth a look. We enjoyed it. The dude out the front at the end even gave us a piece of the ballroom that come down in the cyclone. I was hoping it was a chocolate in there, but it's only a piece of the wall.
Alright, well, we made it to Cairns. So we're pretty much just waiting for the boys to fly in. And I've also booked the Jeep in to the dealership.
What are we doing?
We've got to book the Jeep into the dealership for a little once over.
Once over, it's been 4 days. We've been on the road for 4 days. Mark.
Yeah.
What is the problem?
It's clutch related. It's just not super smooth. It's not really something I can fix on the road.
I'm lucky we've got a Jeep dealership around the corner. See what they say.
Yeah, see what they say. We'll go from there. After a failed attempt to get a shiny new Wrangler as a loan vehicle for the day, the boys luck out and get stuck with something a little more insulting. I think this will make it.
What have you done?
Well, this is comfy, mate. This is comfy. As Mark gets familiar with the Renegade, it's off to the airport to meet Angus and Jordan. Now with a full team, track 2 will see the crew heading further north, with the first pin on the map, the World Heritage listed Daintree Rainforest.